Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pillar to Post. I am Rashaun Alleyne, and I'm joined by Kobia Hamblin. And together we are going to recap what is the Garrison Savannah's biggest race day. The 43rd running of the Alleyne Barbados Gold Cup was held last Saturday, and it lived up to the billing, Kobia, and it's going to take some time to come off of that high.
Come with the hour, come with the cup, and it lives up to all of the hype. The first thing I'm going to have to address is Jalon Samuel winning 7 Gold Cups. At the top of the stretch, Rashaun, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought he was out of it. I thought there was no way he was getting home. Throughout the race, it looked like Bulldoze was going to slip them. It looked like Bulldoze did have them at the top of the stretch. I thought no one was going to get back to him. But Jalon came from the clouds, the master of time, the master of the Gold Cup. He has this race read over from top to bottom.
No, yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. You kind of foreshadowed what is to come, but when you look at the Gold Cup, it's usually a mad scramble for the lead and a 9 furlong sprint, everyone jostling for position, and it ended up being a Deccan Prince and Sir London breaking on top, and Jerry the Nipper, the fastest horse from Barbados, was unable to get to the lead early, and it changed a lot of dynamics for a lot of people early.
It did. A lot of people expected Jared Nipper to sit down and set early fractions, but Deccan Prince and Sir London clearly had other options. As you can see, Bulldoze along the rails, he gets a bit headstrong and he's fighting with Kyle Carrot. He wants to get on the lead. That's the only place he knows to go. He needs to be there. Maybe the pace was a little too slow for him and he thought, let's inject some speed, but he was an absolute handful until he got to the
Yeah,
front of the field.
and I think that was a really wise move by Kyle Carter. Rather than trying to fight Bulldoze to settle in the position he came away in third, if there's an opening, take it. And Bulldoze went through there, bulldozed his way through, and then was able to sit comfortably. And as you're going to see, ran a very huge race to just miss. He finished third. But then you're going to start to think about the others from behind. The pace wasn't necessarily fast, but our two best chances from Barbados and the ones that ended up finishing first and second, Smoking Tea and Public Sector, were at the back of the field. Smoking Tea is getting ready to make a wide early move, and Public Sector is following right behind him.
Yeah, just as you mentioned on the preview show, Rashaun, the last run gets the best run. And maybe Jalon heard us. Maybe he took what we said into account. And that's exactly what he did. Smoking Tea had first run. And it looked like at the top of the stretch, Smoking Tea was the only horse who was going to contest Bulldoze. As Smoking Tea swung wide, just on the outside was Public Sector. And honestly, even deep stretch, it didn't look like Public Sector was going to get there. But he gave Jalon all he had and did just enough to get there.
Yeah, even Dick Stretch, it didn't look like Smoking Tea was going to get Bulldoze either, but Public Sector just completely turned it on late and was able to get up and win by a half length. This horse turned for home dead last. When you watch the drone footage online, it's amazing that this horse was able to finish not just a nose, like a half length in front of Smoking Tea, who was a nose ahead of Bulldoze. Devon Propos came in fourth. I think it was very impressive. This was one of the most thrilling Gold Cups I've seen in a very long time, if not ever.
The stretch run definitely reminds me of Stirrings, and I'm so happy for Romel Lovell. His second Gold Cup win, 7 Gold Cups for Jalon Samuel. I can as well as call him Mr. Gold Cup at this point. He finds a way to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat each and every time. Kudos to this pair.
Yeah. No, 100%. On them really quickly, I think I love that Romel Lovell was able to win this Gold Cup with Public Sector. Again, a lot of conversation around his first Gold Cup winner, but they cannot take this one away from him. And then what can you say that hasn't been said about a man who's won 7 Gold Cups in the last 14 years, where there weren't even 2 runnings in that two in that 14-year span. And then Public Sector right now, he's the king of the Garrison. He's got Smoking Tea's number and he's got everyone's attention. So we'll see what he will continue to do in Barbados. So then we're going to move on to the supporting feature, which was the Sandalene Spa Sprint. And this now was more of an upset. Public Sector went off as the favorite at 8-5, while the favorite was down in the Spa Sprint, but it was won by Miss Anya.
You know what, Rashaun, before we even move on, I do want to mention, we do have the addition of Deccan Prince and Bulldoze staying in Barbados to add to our Triple Crown, so we will be seeing some rematches. But as we move on to the Spa, we would have had Anissa, Miss Anya, Zaid within our first 3. And I think Miss Anya simply blew them away. Miss Anya, who stepped up from her last effort, 15 pounds over from her last effort, and showed that she had no issues whatsoever. Anissa had a bit of a hesitant beginning. The job almost lost his steals, did a marvelous job to recover, made a very big run at Miss Anya. And Dancing Perspective, who also would have had a big run in the tango, would show that whether it's 5, 7, 9, or 10, this horse always has a shot. He's an honest fella.
Yeah, I want to give credit to Miss Anya. I'm someone who really likes Anissa, and I'm just not sure the trip was that bad that if all considered she would have won, but probably she could have won because she did break very slowly and then was rushed up. Wise decision again by Hughes to put her into contention because the race was ultimately won on the front. Then Miss Anya
Yep.
drifting in the stretch. The stewards did call them up and talk to them, but they did not make a change. And I think that was for the better. But I really don't know if rather Enisa was caused so much trouble that she could not have won the race regardless. But honestly, Miss Anya springing the upset, her third start for these connections, and she's getting better with every start for them. She used her speed. Kyle Carter, who rode so well the race before in Bulldoze, was able to put this mirror in front, and she was not for catching.
No, she wasn't for catching one bit. She gave everything from beginning to end. Anissa, a commendable effort. But one horse I must comment on is Warbeat. Warbeat, who would have came here as a Gold Cup prospect. Plans change, ideas change, and that's completely fine. And maybe even for the better. But he ran a huge race in this spa sprint. Sorry, I was not looking for him to snatch any kind of check from this.
Yeah, when you talk about plans changing for the better, he comes here as sort of a backup for public sector, but public sector didn't need that backup. I think the speed that he showed War beat in the Coolmore was kind of indicative that he had this performance in him cutting back. I think back to horses like Marcus Antonius, who would have competed at the longer distances with the A class and then cut back and run really well in the spa sprint. And War beat fit that profile. Delano Lopez did all he could, but the filly in the mirror ahead of him ran really well. And a Dancing Prospector, what can you say about him? No matter what he does, he is a very hard knocking horse. He just ran third in the Tanglewood and comes right back and runs fourth in the Spa Sprint. So that is as honest for such a modest horse.
That's correct, Rashaun. Moving on to the 3-year-olds, the horses of tomorrow. Sorry. I need to make mention of Flying Jenny. That was a brilliant performance. Flying Jenny. I thought Nostradamus was amazing, but it seems like I'm going to get a whole new episode of another amazing filly to come.
Yeah, she is all the adjectives and the colorful language for what she's done, what she did on Gold Cup Day. It's warranted because this is the Beige and Blue Restaurant Trophy, and this is one of the races that Rashid Hughes won on the card. He bagged 5 on the card, and he had 2 very impressive wins with 3-year-old fillies in the Creole, in Flying Jenny, and then to end the card with Soleil Levant, who arguably could have been in the spot and very competitive in there or won it. But Flying Jenny is doing things in March that you would not expect. To the trip, really quickly, when you see where they're at now, Oya's Princess and Ariel, who are on the lead, kind of darted off the rails. Flying Jenny was going to take that out and then came off. Word on the street is that someone had left a kid on the track, so the jockeys were trying to, exercise caution and avoid the child. I hope that everything worked out with the kid. And obviously, I want to talk to Barbadians to be safe and very mindful when it's Gold Cup Day. But apart from that, look at how easily this horse takes over this race. I wish they posted the head on, but again, if someone was on the track, I understand why they didn't. Within the
Yeah.
blink of an eye, she's 5 clear and she's 2.5 furlongs out from home. So Flying Jenny is just so easy in this race, and I thought this was very, very impressive. And the final time of 1:35 in March is insane.
Even passing the 4 furlong pole, from our view, I can see Rashid Hughes fighting with this horse. It's not time to go yet, but she's just so excited and so much better than the rest of the field. You can't fight this amazing filly anymore. As you would have mentioned, 1:35 in March is amazing. The first time, no, so that's around 1:35 was in her Guineas. The Guineas is at the end of April. So she ran it a full month, even 6 weeks before the Guineas. So
Yep.
it's only breathtaking and amazing to think, what more can this horse do? What will it take to dethrone this amazing filly?
And then when you think about that question, the crop isn't necessarily the deepest, or at least it hasn't shown that yet, where the fields are very small and she just won by 10 and three quarters. She ran 137 in December as a 2-year-old. Then she turns around 135 in March. What is there out there that could threaten her? I will say Atara did kind of back up her hopeful that it wasn't a fluke. She was second, but she was a long second. I think for me, when I think about who can go with Flying Jenny, I still think the most impressive 2-year-old that I seen was Dapper David, who won very early in the 2-year-old season. Very impressive 2-year-old maiden winner for Andrew Nunes and Sir David Seal. He's since gone away, and obviously there've been talks about him having all the issues under the sun. If he can come back and improve, I think he could be a worthy adversary, but that's just a shot in the dark because Flying Jenny is so good.
So I do think it's going to take either a new face or Dapper David coming back at 110%. Because I mean, we saw him early. That could simply be precocity that we're seeing. As these horses mature,
Yep.
obviously some get better, and Flying Jenny could just be better than what we have seen thus far. So it may genuinely take a new face or somebody maturing to her point. But I don't think this horse is going to have any problems as it relates to the Guineas. I think she's going to start the favorite. And from what I've seen, stick to the plan, stay consistent, and this horse is going to take a lot to beat.
No, yeah, she was very impressive, and I find it hard to see anything that's going to beat her right now, especially when the races stay at 7.8. But there you have it, folks. That was our recap for the Alleyne Barbados Gold Cup race day, the Gold Cup, which was won again by Jalon Samuel, and he piloted public sector for Melrose Racing and Ramel Lovell rather. Then Miss Anya winning the Spa Sprint, very impressively turning back. Anissa the favorite, and then obviously shout out to the performances on the undercard by Flying Jenny and Soleil Levant, who very impressively won their 2 races. And as Kobia said, we have some horses staying like Deccan Prince, Sir London, and Bulldoze. Are all 3 staying?
I don't think Sir London is saying. I think Sir London's going back. It's
Oh,
just Deccan Prince and those.
but yeah, it's
But
going to be a lot to
regardless,
look forward
two
to.
lovely additions to our top class. We always merit and appreciate any new additions. Word on the street is that there's another one coming. When we get more information, we will share it. But thanks for viewing. Thanks for viewing our review show of the Alleyne Barbados Gold Cup, and look forward to some previews of the Triple Crown Series upcoming.
Yeah, so again, thank you so much for watching Pillar to Post. As always, follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. And as always, may all your tickets be winning ones.